Division 6 state championship. Look at that countdown clock. 19, 27, 26, 25. It's only a matter of time before kickoff. Oh, man. I would love to be there right now, to be a high school student again, to hope your school wins a state championship. And there's a lot of state championships in the history between these two schools. Unfortunately, only one will get a state championship today. And when you talk about this team, the Marion local team, obviously you're talking about the defending champs, Ryan. But at the beginning of the year, maybe you would have thought they wouldn't be back just based on the fact they lost a lot of people.
Well, they lost 14 seniors, and seniors who contributed from their state championship team. This is a team with only 6 seniors. 4 of them started, and a fifth of the 6 got injured. So they're starting 8, 9, 10 juniors, sophomore, and even a freshman. This is a young team to be in a state championship. I wouldn't want to catch these guys a couple years down the road.
But Coach, the schedule obviously has them prepared. They're 12-2, but I mean, their 2 losses against powerful teams, Coldwater and Versailles, and they play in the mighty MAC. And we're going to break down the MAC in a second. But what are your keys and thoughts on this team?
Well, a term I used all season long is deep water. When teams get in deep water, how do they react? And look at the playoff run that they've had. They beat Macomb 34-28 in 3 overtimes. They beat St. Henry's 28-21. They beat Minster 41-34. So these kids, they've matured. Steel hardened steel. And there is your regular season schedule is brutal, but they ran through a brutal gauntlet to get to this point. So these kids aren't young anymore. They're seasoned veterans. So I think it's the competition they've played has made them ready for today's action.
Yeah, see, I want nothing to do with deep water, so I'm glad that Marion local deals with the deep water, certainly. And that deep water is the mighty MAC. Probably my favorite conference in the state of Ohio. I mean, because the bottom line is each week there are no gimmies. You have to battle each and every week to get a win. How about this? A MAC school has played for a state title every year since 2003. 11 state titles in those years. 10th time since '99. A MAC has 2 teams playing, as Coldwater will also play for a championship. And I'll tell you what, guys. What more can you say about this conference than what you're reading right there and what I just said? But guess what? You have to do it. You have to say more.
Yeah, well, what I will say is that most of the teams they beat to get here were MAC teams. Most of the MAC teams that make the playoffs, I believe there were 5 this year, they only lose to other MAC teams. I also will say that Newark Catholic comes from a fantastic league themselves, and this will not be a blowout of a game. And believe me, we've talked about the tradition of Newark Catholic. They're not impressed by the MAC.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I am impressed by the MAC, so I'm glad that someone else is going out there because I'm going to go to war with you. I'm going to tell you the MAC's the best, but we'll find out today for sure. Coach?
Well, the nice thing about it is when you're a head coach, hard thing is scheduling, to get a schedule that's competitive enough but also be able to make the playoffs. This schedule with this conference, you're going to make the playoffs if you win your conference game, so you can schedule your non-conference games a little easier to ease into the season a little bit because your playoffs start week 3.
Let's take a look at Marion Local's championship history, and obviously they're the defending champs, 5 state titles, 7th appearance since 2000. Ha! Are you serious? Did I read that right?
Yeah.
This is their 7th time in the state championship. How does that happen?
Chud, I'm a historian, and let me give you the best stat you can have on Marion Local. Their state titles, in 2000, they repeated in 01. In 06, they repeated in 07. They won it last year. That means they're set to repeat this year. History holds true.
Coach, is it more difficult to win the first time or to repeat?
I never repeated, so I can't. So I'm going to say it's more difficult to repeat.
Yeah. I guess he gave us our answer, right?
Short and sweet, Coach Powers right at you. How about the Marion Local offense? What is the big key today for that?
J.C. Guttamower. He's a running back. He's a sophomore, over 1,500 yards, 27 touchdowns on the ground, and he's a threat to catch the ball, 4 receiving yards. Coach Powers is a big fan of Adam Bertkey. We're going to talk about him in a minute, but the reason Bertkey can do what he does passing is because Guttamower gets those yards and opens up the passing lanes.
Oh, Coach, I set you up. Talk about that man, Bertkey.
Yeah, we said earlier in the show about turnovers. Cliches are cliches for a reason because they're true. Teams can turn the ball over. And one thing about Bertkey this year, he had 16 interceptions this year, which is a lot for him. And a lot of that's attributed to his young wide receivers. So those young wide receivers have to step up today to make plays for him when the time comes. And we got some film to show you real quick here on his 4 touchdown passes in last year's state championship game. On the first touchdown, Adam Bertkey hits the number 2 receiver on an out route. He does a great job of standing tall in the pocket and delivering the ball so the receiver catches the ball in stride, has time to turn it up the sideline and get in the end zone for his first touchdown of the day. The second touchdown is going to be a fade to the corner. He's going to take the snap and do a 3-step drop. If you watch here, his left foot is pointed towards the sideline, not the back pylon like it should be, so it doesn't get as much on the ball as he'd like to. But He's a good enough athlete to overcome it and puts the ball where only his receiver can catch it. The third touchdown is going to be a slant. He's going to take the ball here. He's going to stand tall in the pocket. He's 6'4", so he stands tall. But as he delivers the ball, you look there, he drops his elbow a little bit. That's not going to work on the next level, so he's got to work on that. But he still delivers a beautiful ball, hits his receiver on a slant for the third touchdown. The fourth play is going to be a flea flicker. This one's perfect. He stands tall in the pocket, hops on his toes, delivers the ball over top, perfect spiral. The ball turns over for his fourth touchdown of the day. You see, he's a little bit unconventional with his technique, but man, he gets the job done.
Wow, you're right about that. How about defensively, Ryan?
Well, defensively, they've got two linebackers, Alaric Keller and Kyle Mesher. We mentioned they're a young team, but these are both seniors. They both lead the team in tackles, and speaking of Mr. Bertkey, he's helped out. He's now been playing safety the last few weeks, which has helped their pass defense.
That's been a big key to get to where they're at?
Absolutely. That was the weakness of Marion Local. If they had one, was their pass defense, and they decided, hey, we're going for a state championship. Let's get our best players out there, and they put Bertkey at safety. He's done a really nice job on the defensive side of the ball.
And, Coach, that's had to play a factor, especially in the small schools, when you have guys going both ways. You get tired towards the end of the game, and I know they've been doing it all through the season, but that could be a factor as well when you look at the defense.
True, but they're 15 years old. Get out there, play the game. You got 60 minutes. Just win the game, son.
Oh, boy. There you go. I'm telling you, you're throwing them all out for sure.
I'm glad I didn't play for him.
Yeah, really. Now I know why I won a state championship. Well, who's going to win today's state championship? We're getting a lot closer to finding out. Kickoff is at 11 a.m. We have much more coming up on the show. Our final thoughts right after this. Time out.